As mentioned, we're joined by the Jets Director of Amateur Scouting, Mark Hillier. Anyone with questions for Mark, use the raise hand function now and we'll get started. And we'll get going with Ken Weeb from Sportsnet. Go ahead, Weber.
Thanks, Trigger. Afternoon, Mark. How would you assess the group as a whole, and maybe what could you tell us specifically about Chibrikov that stands out for you?
Well, I'm happy with their day. I guess everybody's happy with their picks the first day, but you know, we had a lot of passion for these players. I've said before, it doesn't matter where they come from. We have a passion to take the players, and you know, it doesn't matter where they are. We think they're the best players, so we feel really good about the talent and the skill we added to the group. You know, Chibrikov's an elite offensive hockey sense and skills. He's a player that finds the right routes to the puck. He's always in the right spot offensively. He'll pay the price to score goals. You know, was really good at the under-18 tournament at the end of the year, where we had a good contingent of scouts that had to see live games. And we just feel really good about the skill level there. And, you know, we think he has top two line power play type potential in the future.
We'll go next to Kelly Moore from 680 CJOB. Go ahead, Kelly.
Thank you, Gregor. Mark, what made the difference for Dmitri Rashevsky in 2021 as opposed to when he wasn't drafted in 19 or 20?
Well, I think he's a classic late bloomer, a physical, you know, he's really started to grow and get stronger in the last year. You know, a year ago at this time, he wasn't quite as heavy or powerful. His skating needed to come a little bit. And physically, it's really come together for him in the last year. He still needs to continue getting stronger. But this is a guy we're really intrigued about. You know, we started, I have to give all our scouts a lot of credit. You know, we really pitched in on the video side at the start of the year, especially when the North American leagues weren't playing. You know, we really made a commitment to go at Europe hard on the video side and have as many eyes on as many players as we could. And Rashevsky, I guess, wasn't really on the radar as much at the start of the season, but man, he was by mid-season and the end of the season. And we're really intrigued by the package there of now, you know, his skating is much improved. He's a really smart offensive player. He's got a lot of skill. He just has really good offensive instincts. He makes things happen. You know, a year ago, he scored 44 goals in the MHL, you know, the top junior league in Russia. And he followed that up with a good season this year, splitting time between, you know, the KHL, the VHL, and the MHL. And we did a lot of work on him, and I have to say, every time I watched him, I was more intrigued from him, and I kept watching more on him and the whole staff as well. And we just think he's a really good value pick there.
We'll go next to Mike McIntyre from the Winnipeg Free Press. Go ahead, Mike.
Thanks, Gregor. Hi, Mark. Good to talk to you. You know, it's funny how these things go. For a few years, it seemed there was all this talk about, you know, center ice and the Jets, and you look at how things have changed now just in a couple of years. Obviously, Pierre-Luc Dubois by trade, but you get Gustafsson in the draft, you get Perfetti last year, and now Lucius this year. I guess, you know, the importance of the center ice position and what you guys have been able to do via the draft. What's your overall take, I guess, up the middle right now?
Well, like you said, the players we've added were a lot stronger in the future up the middle. My personal opinion is you build your team through the center ice. You know, we try to take the best players most of the time, regardless of position. I think it's a lot better chance that centermen, if you don't have a room for them to play center, they can move to the wing. Wingers can't usually move to center. It's a tougher position to play. So I'm really happy about the Lucius pick. You know, he didn't play a lot of games this year, so there wasn't as many eyes on him. Had a great under 17 year last year. but was still a goal a game this year. He's just got elite offensive hockey sense and hands, great shot with a quick release. Really excited about the pick.
Go next to Ted Wyman from the Winnipeg Sun. Go ahead, Ted.
Thanks, Gregor. Mark, I was going to ask you about Chaz Lucius, but just from something you said there, it must have been very difficult to have eyes on all these players as opposed to other years. Do you think there's an opportunity there for quote unquote steals in this draft because of that? Because everybody got different views of these guys?
Yeah, everybody, you talk to any team right now, they're going to think they got a steal, right? That's the way it goes. But I really think we went at this hard this year. I really think we have a hardworking staff. We really bought into the video at the start of the year when that's all we could do. On the European side, we have a scout in Russia and Finland and Sweden and Czech, but they couldn't cross borders. So those guys could see live games in their own countries and they could watch video of everything else. And then, like I said before, everybody on the North American side chipped in on the European video as well. And we did as much as we could until things started in North America. We've got 3 full-time scouts in the US that were able to go to live games most of the year, but couldn't cross the border into Canada. Canadians couldn't cross into the US. I live in Eastern Canada, so anytime I left, I would have a 2-week quarantine. So, I would, at the end of the year, I went on a long trip that was close to 7 weeks long when I left home, and I went right across Canada, right through the US, and ended at the under 18 in Texas. But yeah, to answer your question, it's long-winded, but we really worked hard at it and had as many eyes on as many players as we could with video live. And, I think Rashevsky is one that we've, I don't think he was on a lot of radars there early. And, I think we spotted him early. We knew of him from last year, but spotted him early this year and kept doing a lot of work there. And, hopefully it'll pay off.
We'll go next to Murat Atesh from The Athletic. Go ahead, Murat.
Gregor, hi, Mark. Just following up on that, I want to call it zooiness of dealing with all those borders and things like that. Is there any special training that, say, you'd have to give to an American-based scout from North American ice to cover these leagues by video that they're maybe not used to being the specialist at? What does that look like?
Well, yeah, I'm definitely not a video specialist, or an IT specialist, and I know I'm not. I try to do the best I can, but we have Barrett Leganchuk in our office that does whatever I ask him to do, he puts together for us and sends us video clips and whatever. That's done really well. We have a couple of other video services that all the scouts have that we use, and we'll weekly I would send out, let's watch this guy, let's watch this guy, let's watch this guy, or we'd send out 5 games of a certain guy and say, hey, if you can get these done this week, and then we'll get to the next group of players, and that kind of went on all year. And just the hard thing all year was adapting to the border changes, to the restrictions, to the regulations, to the cancellations, to the postponements. And, everybody had to deal with that, but we just tried to get through it as best we can and put the work in.
We'll go next to Kelly Moore from 680 CJOB. Go ahead, Kelly.
Mark, if the stats physically for Dmitry Kuzmin are accurate at 5'9", 178, is he the kind of guy and we understand he played in a men's league in Belarus. So as an undersized guy, did you see enough of him to think that he'd be able to play that smart type of small defenseman's type game at the North American level?
Yeah, it's funny. I think he's closer to 5'10". The measurement we got on him was 5'10". Some players you look at, you see a small player. With him, I don't see a small player. The way he plays, I just see a good player. He played in Texas at the under 18, so we got 5 or 6 live views of him there against really good competition. So Belarus wasn't one of the stronger teams, but he played a lot of good teams and he played really well. He's got a dynamic side to his game. He can skate, he can move the puck, he can run a power play. I'm sure you've seen the lacrosse type goal, he scored there. That's on all the video clips, but he's just a character kid too, plays really hard and competes, has a great stick. He's one of those guys, it's a challenge obviously to play pro or NHL at that size, but he has all the intangibles, the work ethic, the grit and determination. And we just think it's a good pick regardless of size.
We'll go back to Ken Wiebe from Sportsnet. Go ahead, Weber.
Mark, you touched on Hockey Sense. It's always been a quality your organization has valued. Has the charting of that, was that a bit of a challenge this year as well, or those things can still stick out on some of the video portion, or how did you maybe attempt to measure that this year, maybe because of some of the challenges?
Yeah, it's all a challenge with video to live, right? So some players I only saw on video, some I only saw live, or some both live and video, I mean. But as a whole group, as a whole staff, we had a good combination of live and video. So didn't want to, video is a great tool to use, but it doesn't replace live games, and it never will. Just a small thing. When I'm at a live game, I like to sit at the end of the rink, up in a corner at the end of a rink. Most video you see is from the side. So that's an adjustment. But, with all our work collaboratively, with all the scouting staff, we would mix the opinions live to video and, come up with the best we could on skating, Hockey Sense, the skill portions and everything. But, it was a different evaluation this year, that's for sure. But, we did our best to kind of mix the live and the video views and try to get the best opinion out of it.
And final question, Murat Atesh from The Athletic. Go ahead, Murat.
Thanks, Gregor. Hi again, Mark. Just going back to Chaz Lucius, with the adversity that he went through this year with his injury, and it's your job to sort of project his future, and what were you able to take away from how he approached that time?
Well, I think, part of it might have been a benefit to him to, he's a kid that needs to get stronger and add some weight and put the work in the gym. And I think he was, he was able to do that through the injury a little bit. He looked like his skating was better when he came through, probably just because he was a little stronger and better conditioned. So, I mean, getting back to the Hockey Sense there, he really has elite Hockey Sense, and it does, the injury doesn't affect that. We just think he's, we did all the checks on the injury. We think he can come out of this stronger than before, and just have no worries about that, and think, when he matures physically more in another year or two, he's going to be a special player for us.
Thank you very much, Mark.
Okay, thanks, guys.